Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Headspace Podcast. This is the show where we break down new-ish hip-hop albums track by track, giving our thoughts and our opinions on every song. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, or HSR.
My name is Chris Chrome.
And today we will be talking about the genius himself, Your Old Droog, the homeboy, and his album... what's it called?
It wasn't even close.
Damn, I almost had that. I ruined it. So this is that amateur-ass show where we break down the albums track by track, give our thoughts and opinions, like I said. But I bring it up again to let you know that we are not the most professional people. We are just like you. We are just trying to have that conversation with you included. So if you want to skip the intro bit, check the description of the video where you can see when we actually start talking about stuff. But... here's a good chance, person coming to this review, that you know more about Your Old Droog than we do. And the reason I bring that up is because we encourage you, our new Droog, to, see what I did there? Yeah, that's right. I'm a little informed. To leave some comments there, and we can have a little chit-chat, a little conversation. We can, if we say anything dumb or silly or missed a point or etc., you can correct us, or you can just tell us why you like the album or why you don't like the album, or you can tell us about that time you saw Your Old Droog and he, gave you a fist bump. I'd like to hear about that. Or, have you seen the man do a dab? Anything that's interesting that you want to share. Everybody in the comments, y'all read it when you come to the video. So, they'll just read your comment too. And it's like you're part of the video just by being in the comments. And to show how much we care, we always like to read our favorite comment from last week's video. And last week, what album did we talk about, Chris? Damn, he forgot. It was Mad Child's Demons. I was ready to go with it. Mr. Lindell Williams came and dropped a comment on that bad boy, and he said, this album is somewhat so-so. I feel you. It's a good album if you're really into it. Basically, if you like the first, 4 songs, you're going to love it. Love it, love it. Otherwise, you're going to be like, it's so-so. Well, the sound is something along the lines of something that I will listen to. It just needed a twist as far as transforming between his verses to allow him to be more crafty with his wordplay. However, it's an album, that's what he said, I can go back to and listen to, kind of open my mind as far as subject matter. The songs I like the most are Follow and Forget About You. The album grade for me is a 4.4, although the beats were not that transforming, I could still live with the sound. Great review. Thanks, Lindell. We always appreciate you. You're the shit. Anyway, before we jump into it, special thanks to the patrons, Lindell Williams, yeah, he's one of them, Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, and DJ Black Hurricane. We'll talk a bit about that at the end. And now, Mr. Christopher, why don't you appease the Google overlords and tell their algorithm what album we are reviewing today?
Well, for today's Headspace review, we're going with Your Old Droog. It wasn't even close.
And the way I fucked it up, man, it wasn't even close at the start. But I got it this time when I said it wasn't even close. See what I did there? Just for you, Google robots. Okay, we'll get into the episode now. We like to start the show off contextualizing how much we know about the artist and how big of a fan we are and all that type of shit, because it makes a big difference between your relationship with the album. So if you just listen to this for the first time and you're brand new to Your Old Droog, you're gonna feel away from it. If it's 6 months after we've released this video and you've been sitting on that project and you got that shit memorized, you totally gonna feel different than say somebody a couple weeks after it came out, or maybe somebody who's been a fan for a decade. And all these different perspectives change how you see a project. As a result, we like to tell you about our experience with that shit. So for me, I discovered Your Old Droog when we talked about his PAX album. That was one of our very earliest episodes, where I remember being duly impressed with the man's lyricism. There are just several songs White Guest or Rap Man, I think it was Rap Man or something, whatever, that superhero one that he did, and a few other tracks that I just kept listening to pretty much since I heard them in 2017, the ones that I ended up plussing. I kind of really like his style, but for me, I think I can't remember, it was Sean Price or somebody recently I reviewed, and Your Old Droog did a verse on it, and I swear, his verse was one of the hottest ones on the album, and it got me excited. Then I saw Your Old Droog dropped a project, and I can't remember why we didn't review it, but then a guy dropped a project this weekend, a person I'm not a fan of, so I just didn't want to review that Logic shit. No, I'm sorry, that Homicide song was not that good.
I was like, it can't be the only reason.
No, it's because Logic is trash, and honestly, I don't know that I can get through the review without, like, I can say that on a Your Old Droog review. I can say it here because I know the Your Old Droog crowd gets the proper lyrics and shit that I'm going for. Logic is all flair and flashiness. Like, his shit's tight if you're like 18 and you into some tricky shit, but I guarantee you, without hearing that album, that, like, I just wouldn't feel it. I just wouldn't. And everybody who's listened to it, who knows me, has said you're not gonna like it. So I just wanted to talk about how Your Old Droog is that much better than Logic in my mind. Like, people think Logic is here. I really admire Your Old Droog's ability to write, and this is going into this project to, like, here. So I came into it ready to go, because whereas Logic lacks content, Your Old Droog understands what the fuck content means. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. I've been waiting because I bet somebody's expecting to see us review the Logic album. Fuck that shit. It's not worth it. We're going to talk about a guy who's truly worth it over here.
Nice.
Droog means friend, if I'm not mistaken, in Russian. Don't even know if I'm saying that right. That's fine. I don't know. I was just kind of excited to get to this project. I knew we were going to review it 100%. I just thought it would be sooner. What about you, Chris? Were you excited for this project?
I was excited because I kind of forgot about Droog only.
Wow.
It's not because he's not good. I went back and listened to Pax and I was like, yeah, I do think he's good. I just don't think that he's my style. So over the last 2 years, I've been doing other reviews and all these other albums that I kind of forgot what he brought to the table. Just because, and that's probably just my fault not following up and checking to see if he had any other projects or whatnot. But I mean, I like I said, I did go back and listen to Pax, so I did know going into this project that, like, I'm going to get some heavy content, some heavy bars. We're going to get a unique style that I don't really listen to much because I feel like he's got certain ways of kind of controlling his flow. So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel. And that's really honest, just because I may, and I'm going to say this now, I may not get a lot of these references, nor may I understand a lot of the messages. So that's kind of how I know it's blocking myself, but that's kind of how I approached this time. I was really open-minded to see what I can learn from it and everything, but I do know where my roadblocks were going into this.
Fair enough. On that note, the album's called It Wasn't Even Close, which means, like, to me, it figures like the quality that we're going to get on this project just smokes the competition. Like, it's not even a game. It's just confidence. And then you look at that cover, and it's super interesting. First of all, it's like a room shot and everything, and there's some stuff happening.
Right.
Like, there's a carpet on the floor that looks like a pepperoni pizza, and it's very delicious looking. There's a newspaper that says, Your Old Droog is the best, because, well, he's pretty fucking talented. It makes sense, you know?
Right.
There's a mirror in the back with all these pills and shit, and it looks like there's a girl in the reflection that we just can't see, so there's he's probably doing some stuff to Your Old Droog, you know? He's getting his stuff on. There's a fridge open.
What mirror?
Is that not a mirror in the back?
That's a bathroom.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bathroom, and it's a girl sitting on the toilet. It's a painting of a girl sitting on a toilet.
That's just a painting?
Yeah, it's a painting of a girl sitting on a toilet.
I don't know.
Or maybe it's Your Old Droog with hair, but it's somebody sitting on a toilet in the bathroom. It's a painting of that.
I guess. No, I mean, I'm saying about, like, way in the back of this painting. Where do you see
The green?
No, to the right of the green. Oh, maybe it's still another poster.
Oh, well, no, that's a pill cabinet, and it's a little poster of a girl.
Okay, anyway, I thought it was a mirror. That's fine. Who cares? It's still kind of like a whacked out room that kind of just shows like there's a witch's potion brewing in the middle of it. There's a skull next to the globe that's cracked open. So the skull's cracked open. It looks like there's that pack of cigarettes from Pax right there. There's the lip balms that are his current Spotify picture that are right over there. By the way, that is the absolute fucking best brand of lip balm. Like, it gives your lips a little tingly, and it's very nice.
Nice.
Good choice of lip balm, Your Old Droog. Anyway, this is a fucking interesting cover. Like, I'm totally gonna forget all about it in a week or two, but while I'm staring at it, it's pretty full of detail. I mean, it doesn't really say his name outside of the newspaper, so it's kind of like a subtle thing.
Well, the YOD, the acronym, It's on the jersey with the 1 above it.
Again, but like, you know, like it alludes to what it is. It's not like so in your face. It's just like almost like it's letting you know that you have to pay attention to the details in that regard off the jump, that there's going to be details, and that's really it. So I think in that regard, it communicates the difficulty level of the rap that you're about to encounter right off the jump.
Absolutely.
It was good, so it wasn't even close. Anyway, I'm feeling a little bit peckish, I'm not gonna lie. You wanna go for some gyros? Fuck the podcast.
Take it a roller roaster, hit it once, then ghost her. Man, I don't know.
I didn't know that the gyros poster was a thing because I live in Montreal and I don't know if we had gyros posters. That was how I wanted to start this one off. That's in reference to the line, "My shoddy looks straight off the gyros poster." Remember
The gyro
those?
poster is the girl in the pill cabinet on the cover.
Oh shit.
It says gyro above her head.
And so that's like a poster that was a real thing. Anyway, on that poster, it's like that one with the dark-haired girl. It says "hungry for something different," and I thought that was like, I don't know if that was like the level of deep he's going with this, but just to even imply that his like fan base or people that listen to his music could be hungry for something different. Like it was a bar that required googling the reference and maybe reading the tagline to fully like.
Right.
Like, I don't know, maybe
Kind
I'm
of have
just
to
going...
like this. It's like he kind of writes in code, and you have to go and decipher it, giving it more life.
It's mad dope. Like, all right, so off the jump, it's got this old school ass sounding beat. That's fine. I'm allowed to comment. It's a pretty standard old school sounding beat. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. The real focus for me is all about Your Old Droog's absolute writing style. Like, he's got a calm delivery to it. Like, quiet is kept, I'm the best. But it's like, if you don't scream all the time, then it ain't the truth. There's no depth, you know? Like, right?
Yeah.
And then you get the sense maybe for where his head's at. It is like, quiet is kept, I'm the best. So he doesn't maybe brag about it. He's not talking about that shit. He's just the top shit. But it's like, if you don't scream it all the time, then it ain't truth. There's no depth. But then if you really consider the state of rap music, and this is a criticism that I've had for many, many a year, where it's like every motherfucking rapper out there feels the need to talk about how they're the best. Like there could be like 36 rappers in my local neighborhood, and every last one of them wants to be the best. And they all say they're the best. But only one can be the best. I'm not even saying anything about who it is. I'm just saying that it's 35 of them are lying. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, maybe there's this dream that you aspire to be the best.
I think.
But if we remember Pokemon's theme song, it doesn't start off with "I am the best." It says, "I want to be the best."
That no one ever was.
But that's the difference. One of those is a factual statement.
But, like,
I aspire
I think...
to be the best. The other side is, I am currently the best. So when you look at a guy like Droog, who maybe wasn't going out there rapping about how he's the best rapper, and he had to keep it quiet because he didn't think it was a necessary thing, but realized that people seem to be kind of vain and shallow like that, and proceed to scream out all the time. And then that's the only way people believe it to be true, as though the vapid nature of just saying something is what's important. That's a lack of depth.
I didn't even think. No, that's dope. But I didn't even take it as repeating, "I'm the best, I'm the best," for people to believe is true. It's for the rappers who are saying it to believe themselves.
One way or the other.
Like, I feel like that's kind of what he was going at. Like, if the rapper doesn't say they're the best, they don't actually believe it.
I think it's all the same thing there.
Yeah.
You know, I used to buck, put my gun in the holster, and step a humble man turned boaster. That's bolster the rap boasting. Got a stable of fine hoes I'm close to. My shawty look straight out the Gyros poster. Remember those? Now, so I'm just trying to like read it up to show you his rhyming is impeccable. When I say impeccable, I mean this guy is a writer who can like follow the sentences in order, make like multi-line bars that like almost have a punchline like a comic. He's got the ability to make the entire thing flow proper, like he's straight out of a Wu-Tang or something. Straight from that New York sound, in my opinion. He's just fucking dope. And he really has like this sense of fucking deep intelligence and shit. It's like, check this. No one can mess with me. They fetishize over the text, like what's the recipe, not knowing it's encoded in keyboards with encryptions. And fuck Rap Genius. That's the website I have open right fucking now. Fuck rap genius if you herbs can't overstand the diction. Now, I know what overstand means because that's the Gospel of Hip Hop by KRS-One, that brown one. He has a whole section on overstanding, which is to like basically go and get the deeper fucking next level meaning behind some shit, the diction. So the idea here is that if it requires you to click on the fucking annotations to understand the meaning of the lyrics, rap genius is diluting the interpretive nature of a listener's kind of ability to do it, in the sense that, like, I watched a video that was talking about how handwriting, you retain more information because of how your brain just processes shit. So I have to focus more when you're handwriting, you have to focus less when you're typing. Because of that, your brain remembers the significance of typing less than writing, and you remember less information. Just this type of shit. So, Your Old Droog, the reason I'm able to interpret this shit is because I didn't just listen to the song like once. I listened to them like 5, maybe 6 times, you know, just to make sure I understood the lyrics, because the first few times you hear it, it's just words flowing. But then as you're listening, you just hear little lines like popping out and boom, boom, boom. So when I thought about that rap genius line, the superficial thing is maybe you have to like not have the lyrics up. Well, if that's your point, Your Old Droog, I need the lyrics up for this reviewer thing because I gotta quote shit and I just can't remember it all.
But
Sorry.
I feel
But when we talk about the annotations feature, I'm like pretty up with him. And then he goes, but then he follows this up with the diction. I'm selling handwritten transcriptions. Even then, they might as well be hieroglyphics. So I'm wondering if maybe people actually just put his lyrics up wrong and shit. And so he's just like, listen, if that's what you want, pay me. I'll give you the fucking lyrics. Well, I don't want to do that, Your Old Droog. I just want to quote them in my fucking review. But as far as the interpretation of the lyrics goes, I totally appreciated this. Either way, I believe this whole song can be summarized as Your Old Droog is the shit and y'all basic, but like proving that motherfucker. Like, what's wrong with this song? Nothing. Every line is flawless in terms of his delivery. Every line sounds fresh in terms of his delivery. Every line has a bigger meaning. It all ties into the same core concept. Even the rap genius line, it's just so relevant and fresh. Like, this is an actual thing that's going on. Like, and I can assure you, because I'm one of the motherfuckers who transcribed one of the songs on this project on Rap Genius. I fucked up some of the lyrics. So maybe Your Old Droog, if you put them up, it would be so cool. I'm just throwing it out. Like, it is an unreliable source. I'm not a reliable transcriber. I just brought out a bunch and said, fuck it, I'll copy and paste what I put onto Genius. So you gotta just imagine, it's just regular people who fuel a lot of the site, especially on the underground, because the Genius employees aren't clearly fucking doing Your Old Droog. Anyway, that's all sorts of tangential bullshit. I really like this song, and I think that, as you'll come to see, this is a fucking consistent shit. I know you want to talk about the Drake part, so I'm gonna leave that for you.
What Drake part?
He goes, God's plan, God's plan.
Oh, no, I don't care about that. I was
what?
actually...
Then I'll talk about the Drake's part.
Like, I got it. I thought it was cool,
Yod's
but
playing,
I didn't...
Yod's plan. You know, it just kind of sounded like God's plan.
Yeah,
God's
I know what it sounds
Mortals
like.
in the crowd want to touch the God hand. And from that, I'm thinking more of that, like, 5%er side of God. Like, I am an inspired person and all that shit. Even in that book, he talks about how through hip-hop culture, you become a God and shit. It's super fascinating mind trip shit that I'm not yet qualified to explain. Still, it's so good. It's just pointing out how he's the real and Drake's not the real, which I can respect. But Drake's from Canada and owns the charts, so Team Canada, what? All right, 4.5 on 5, next level shit. I was that excited, I just had to go. All right, Chris.
You covered all the lyrics I highlighted. So with that, I don't really have lyrics to quote from this song. He's good. He's got a crazy like way of writing, which just kind of takes you into like this like flow that he just brings you into. Something that I wanted to talk upon was the rap genius line. For me, I think it's really just when he's talking about like interpretation, it's like just the annotations for me. I think I agree with the fact of having the lyrics up. I think that you should have your lyrics up if people really want to read them and go along with them and do what you got and you know, try to figure out what's going on.
Well, I mean, just to play devil's advocate, why shouldn't the person just listen to what he's saying?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
But you just said you should have the lyrics up.
Because for me, let me rephrase that. For me, I would like having lyrics because I like to follow along with the lyrics and read along. But I should also be able to listen and enjoy it as well. What I'm trying to say with the annotations is that when we started doing the reviews, right, at one point I felt like the annotations for myself, right, they were what the line meant, but it didn't
Oh my
mean,
gosh, yeah, even if it was deadpan wrong.
right. So for me, I started kind of turning around and be like, it doesn't even matter what the annotation says, whether it's right or wrong. It's still how I interpret that line. I like that line not because there's an annotation, but because I enjoy it. So I think for me, that's what I took away with that line from Your Old Droog, is because I feel like maybe people do that and they build off their own concepts off of what other people think, instead of just really going like, oh, I feel like this song is this, which I kind of believe music was intended for that reason.
And there is the argument to be made that like you rely on the lyrics. Like I have the lyrics up on Genius, like when I go through my album reviews, not because I really read it. In fact, I usually don't even look at them unless like I've listened to a song 2-3 times and I'm like, oh shit, I just scan the lyrics real quick, get a quick point of it. But mostly I like having the lyrics for this part, like when we're talking on the camera and it's impossible for me to remember everything. So it's really just handy. It's a handy tool. But I remember when I started reviewing, I did read along first a lot more as I was listening to the songs. And then somewhere along the way, my ability to overstand, and I use that word deliberately, kicked in, and so now I listen a lot, and honestly I might just look at the lyrics on my last listen of the song just to see if there's something I missed, just to verify, because this is a review and I don't want to look stupid. But I find myself like having transitioned past it, so there is something to be said about not having lyrics. But on the other hand, just to counter that point, to show how complex this is something I think about a lot. If you look at the volume of music that gets put out on a regular basis, as much as in an ideal world your fans is just gonna bump your shit all day, I mean, there's like at least gonna be 15 rap albums this month alone, and just the mainstream enough for us to have heard of it, let alone your local scene, let alone all the scenes. So with the sheer volume of music that comes out every week, it's kind of like Genius is a good way to, like, again, facilitate the experience. Is it optimal? No. But anyway, I know for y'all it might be a little bit boring, but it's just how complicated I think this conversation is, because both sides have very good points to me. I'm totally on Team Genius because I'm a reviewer and it helps my life. I digress.
Just before we move on, I overall like the song. I like what he does on the track. I like how he presents it. I like how he takes it, how it kind of takes me away from reality. But the song did land a 4 on 5. Only for me, I felt like the bass was just way too much. Like I felt like there was just this heavy amount that just kind of overpowered the entire song. But that's really it.
All right, the next track is RST.
Next week, Barney Miller and Matlock, we was trying to get iller.
I recently recorded an hour and 48 minutes after editing video by myself, so I can just keep talking all the time. Chris, why don't you give us your thoughts so that I don't steal all the lines and stuff again?
RST was different. I kind of like the beat a little bit more. In a way, I feel like the overall kind of message is like he's kind of presenting the support of his fans. He's kind of acting as a fan, trying to like support him in a way. So the reason why I say that is like in verse 1, Droog kind of breaks down how I feel like his fans are shocked that people don't really see him the way they do. Kind of like he's not really like at the top of the peak. He's not endorsed yet. So I like how he's kind of embodying that. He's giving us the outside perspective that kind of happens to the experience that happens to him when he's either like walking through his city or, kind of going home or whatever after being on tour. And it's like, people are just kind of still shocked, and I guess there's like that I guess pride that he has in his voice a little bit, like, yeah, these people actually think I'm fucking dope, like I should be out there. So that was pretty cool that I understood from the first verse. Now in the second verse, Doom comes in, and that was really cool because they kind of sound like they'd feed off each other, the way they rap, the way they kind of spit bars. Like,
they are very deep, lyrical, New York sounding motherfuckers.
Right? So Doom says something that really kind of stuck out, and I felt like he was kind of going after like the younger today's rappers. Yeah, stay home, sip, mixed rugged. Chicks love it baboon rappers, illegitimate mimes, and Muppets. Yucked up the game, Lil Pig Swines, McNuggets. Get the yap back, smack 'em, spit shine your mullet.
So
Like,
why is that young rappers?
No, I feel like the whole verse kind of is about like them being different than today's rappers. Mixed rugged, I feel like that's lean. At home, yeah, staying home, sipping mixed rugged. Chicks love it. Baboon rappers, mumble rappers, illegitimate mimes and Muppets, industry plants, and people copying each other to try to be the next big thing. All the.
So it sounds to me like it's not just young rappers, it's the industry. And a shot at how disgusting fucking chicken nuggets and shit look. Have you seen the pink slop ass things? I don't think I can.
Yeah.
I don't think I can really do nuggets no more, nor chicken breast and frozen shit. I gotta look at it, just picture it. So I believe you're right. Don't get me wrong, but I just think it's broader. It's the industry and all these various aspects of it, like the lean and the fake shit, fucked it up. Like looking at that pink shit, fucked up chicken McNuggets like forever. And McDonald's has great fucking McNuggets. They're like crack. They're so good. But that shit's gross now. Anyway, go on.
Well, at one point he also kind of follows up, and something else was like. Spit shine your mullet, clowns and clones, sneaky as skull and bones, wiretaps, bugging phones, key to a dozen homes.
Do you realize how good that? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. That sneaky as skull and bones line is, because the Skull and Bones Society is Yale's fucking secret society thing that people just don't. Oh, fucking good shit, man.
See, so I didn't catch that reference. To me, it was just like. The wiretapping, bugging phones, I feel like that's just I don't know if that was like a government or political thing, like the FBI is following us and all this shit, but I felt like he's kind of making a really technical
the
thing
fakes are running through it, and this way these plants and shit. You're right.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, like on social media, like when they're on live stream and they're on Insta story and all this stuff.
It could also be like I come into your crew, we're in the studio together,
right,
and I'm just like in person with you.
Keys to a dozen homes, they move in all amongst us until their cover's blown. So so even that right there, he kind of follows it up like, yeah, so you could be at a party one day chatting up with some dude, then like next thing you know, you find out he's a fake rapper, he's not even part of a gang, he's like he's snitching, he's all this shit. So like that's something that really stuck out.
There's definitely a rainbow-haired rapper we can all think of. That's true.
Oh, Jesus. And then did I not quote verse 3?
Did you skip over Mach-Hommy?
I think
that's okay. You also didn't quote anything in verse 1. That's
I
fine
didn't.
too.
And in verse 1 for
can I just say for verse 1? If I can speak candidly, I give him the beats. Because the first one, he's right. Hey, we've been waiting on you. Must be hating on you. Them clowns shook if they don't want to endorse you. Mad because you're on the heels of horseshoes. So it's kind of like his fans looking at him like, yo, where you at? Are people not backing you up? Fuck that. Condo us and shit. And he's like, yo, I thought it was good luck. Cassius don't want to get surpassed. That would suck. And then you get this little thing where maybe the big like names in hip-hop don't want to put Droog on it because Droog will smoke him. Like there's, I don't know that there's that many that can compete with Droog in the game. I'm gonna be real with you. With that level of wit that he's got and reference-driven shit, it's fresh. It's like, and he's not arrogant with it. He's just fucking real with it. Here's an example of how much I fucking like it. You skip ahead a little bit. So, Cassius, don't want to get surpassed. That would suck. Oh, shucks, what a bummer. If I can speak candidly, I give him the beats. Single-handedly, like Def Leppard drummer, pour some sugar on me. Because single-handedly, he's handling shit like Def Leppard's drummer, who was one-armed. And then Pour Some Sugar on Me is a Def Leppard song. And it fits. Get the bougie bitch on the hood, booger on me. From your niece to your auntie, sister to your mommy. These old references, like Def Leppard and shit, pulling back to what just happened. Oh, like your grandma loved me. And that's dope.
Not even. Slide through her crib with a box like a diva. Reserve.
Anyway.
He continues with all of the older.
It's just fucking great, man. And that's what I like about Your Old Droog in particular. Because Doom killed it. Don't get me wrong. Doom is just as good. But like Doom has more of like a politics message there. But I feel like Your Old Droog is able to just take an abstract theme or any theme and just run references for days where you really do have to sometimes sit there, think about it, and decipher it. And if you're not willing to do it, and you could say the same thing about Doom. If you're not willing, or Aesop Rock on that matter, if you're not willing to sit there and break down their fucking lyrics proper, it's just gonna go over your fucking head and it's gonna be kind of boring. I feel like, how do you feel? Mach-Hommy, yeah, I know you didn't quote anything.
I did, because I'm looking at the lyrics on Genius, and there is something that I did like when he went, I told you I would bend you like light through a prism, Pink Floyd reference, and then I told you I would send you send you like a kite, you wouldn't listen. I told you I'd be in and out of your life, you couldn't picture. I just really thought that was cool, like the way he put that together and the way he used like these different references to kind of just be like, I warned you, you didn't want to do it, I was kind of honest and stuff. That was something that was really cool for me from his verse.
I like his verse, but let's be real, it is inferior to the other 3 verses on this project. I'm kind of glad it's a little short and Droog kicks back in. But it's not like it's bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying it's inferior to these 2 legendary figures next to him. It's kind of like hard to shine. Even if Mach-Hommy, no disrespect. Like, for real, I don't mean no disrespect. It's not a bad verse in any means. I really like to smear the Kool-Aid, your heart pump on the door like Passover. And that's an interesting rhyme, like, because smearing the Kool-Aid, as, you know, kind of just pictures like Jonestown and people being fucking indoctrinated and shit. But also, in a sense, taking your blood from the heart pump and putting the sheep's blood over the door arches was the move of Passover. And the way that those lines connect is just as brilliant. Just to show you, Mach-Hommy is not bad. Okay? Just to show you. I'm not hating. Your Old Droog, though, 4th verse, you had quotables, I believe?
No, not for the 4th verse.
It's a great fucking verse. Does its thing.
I felt like, for me, I just felt like the 4th verse was kind of like, I'm king shit. But not in like a cocky type of way. It was just like, we're good, this is what we do. Kind of like just giving his little energy out there.
All that boom, bam, bip, bap, bang, swing, pong, then I bang on my chest like, and then you get Sean Price, King Kong, King Kong, King Kong in the place. I really like this track. This was nice. I'm not gonna lie, the beats on this might be my biggest, like, I'm not 100% sold on it, right? These are not beats that, these beats are very well made and you can vibe to them. But I feel like across this project, the beats are very similar. And if you were to ask me to just randomly pick it on the beats, I would have trouble identifying what songs they are. No disrespect intended. I like the construction of it, but I think the lyrics are like stellar, and maybe over different sounds I would like it even more. So I'm giving it another 4.5, but lyrically it's a 5. But like all in, it's a 4.5.
I gave it a 4.5 as well. I thought it was good.
All right. The next track is called Tried by 13, Vaclav Havel.
Income, sound exchange checks, brolic, word to Al Lindstrom, 40 racks and then...
Feels like, again, Your Old Droog is legitimate and authentic. He makes the real money. You do not make the real money.
Not just make the real money. Took a look at the books. What a surprise to find. Said I make more money in my sleep than your rise and grind. He's got money coming in 24/7.
Like the residuals and shit off of his projects and his other efforts and stuff in life. Whereas a lot of people might be a little bit fake. Like, I got the bag. Yeah, I got the bag. I'm not saying Migos in particular isn't rich. I'm saying that there's a lot of guys who might be talking about having a bag or driving in certain rented cars or wearing a bunch of jewelries and shit. But
well, actually, I wanted to quote that. 40 racks and then some. Somewhere eating dim sum. Why spend it on some goofy-ass chain with an emblem? Lack of fucks to give, still try to be productive. Droog ain't a loudmouth or a gossiper, no, just lay low and you'll prosper. Existential dread ain't nothing but a Rasta philosopher. Listen, that was dope.
I mean, the whole song kind of flows through with, like,
right.
What do you do with your money? How are you living like this? Like,
right.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. Get those checks out like Vaclav Havel, just to say he was the last president of the Czechoslovakia, and, you know, get the checks out like that guy because he was the last thing. See, a Google annotation helped me with that, but I would have just Googled the line and come to the same conclusion. So thank you, Genius Annotations. Anyway, the whole song is just fucking ridiculous. I feel like there's one word to really describe this project properly, and it's consistency. So, like, if you were not down for the first 2 songs, I can totally understand how you're maybe not feeling this. I can also understand that if you're not catching the references, this will all just kind of sound the same to you. So like if you're a little bit newbier on the hip hop side and you haven't really gotten into the denser lines and the deeper shit, and that's no disrespect, pop hip hop does not encourage that level of thinking. I could see how you might not realize maybe how fucking actually well written this shit is, but this guy writes like a dude who reads a lot of motherfucking books in a literal sense. I mean, like, I really like the line he goes, your career is somewhere with cannabis. Where you going? Running 20 miles in soft sand. That means it's jogging in place. And I would eat your food, but I ain't got no dog in a race.
Hey.
And it's pretty fucking good. Like, when I think of cannabis, I picture that battle rap he did where he read, like, the poetry off the... I think that's Cannabis that did that. I hope I'm not. Otherwise, I'm
I
stupid.
just go to the Eminem and Cannabis beef and how he lost.
No, but it was something else. I'm pretty sure... anyway, I'll Google it in between songs and correct myself if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he, like, embarrassed himself. But, like, really, he's a lyrical dude, bro. Like, where the fuck's his career at, honestly? I mean, everybody keeps telling us to review Cannabis. I will review it. What?
What's the new Cannabis album I listened to?
I don't know. But my point is, where's his career at? I don't know. It's not popping. People don't go out there and talk about him. The only people who tell me to review him are like the old heads who really care about lyrics. Like, there's a high percentage of y'all on this channel who might care about that and be like that. But in life, it's not popping like that. So it's a pretty cool line, in my opinion. Overall, it's just fucking proper. I really, really also enjoyed, I would spit on you, put hands on you, but I don't want your dirt on my mittens. You know what? Matter of fact, y'all forgiven. Greedy fucks ain't always want more than is given. And then that's an interesting line because it shows his moral and ethical stature. Like, look, y'all piss me off and y'all are a certain way, but if I come and harm you or I go out of my way to wish bad things upon you, technically I'm sinning and I'm doing the bad things. So you know what? What are you supposed to do for your enemies? You're supposed to be fucking kind to them and shit. So he goes and forgives them and washes his hands of it all and just kind of does the kind thing to his enemies. It's just deep as shit. And then there's like this little skit at the end with the radio call-in where obviously it's some kind of opinion piece thing, and like the comment, the caller is like, you guys just say shit, and he's like, yo, I will listen to like any actual like argument that you have against my opinions and what I said here. I'll listen to any of it and I'll rebut and we can have a real conversation. But if all you're trying to do is just insult me, you know, what the fuck, you're just wasting everybody's time. It's kind of boring. And then the guy gets flustered and dips out. And that's just kind of how the song ends. And you can kind of see how that skit is basically saying, yo, if you don't like what I have to say, you better come back with a proper fucking argument. Don't be coming out with your shallow fucking insults and shit. Overall, the beat was on par with the other two beats, in my opinion. The lyrics are on par with the other two ones. It's a 4.5. It's just really great, solid lyrical shit that makes, like, from the lyrics perspective, I'm tripping. It's so good.
Okay, so I didn't like it.
That's fine.
Not in like a really bad way. I do like some of the lines that he spit. I put out that 40 racks line. But really what killed it for me was the beat. I didn't enjoy it at all. The trumpets were annoying. The wompy sound was echoing. I don't know, like, if it's a theme on the album or something, but I'm hearing, like, his voice is very clear when the beats are not overpowering his voice. I feel like there's certain volumes on the instrumental that's just taking over the lyrics. And not to drive home the point, but if that's going to be the case, I would like to have the lyrics up so I can read along. Sometimes listening to this,
you just gotta listen to it.
I mean, yeah, I get it, but like for me personally, it's just sometimes I'm like, yo, I can't get past this particular sound. Like I can't get, like, I don't know, like I just can't, like I just hear it. So fortunately the song kind of hit a 3.8.
Damn, that's not correct. I mean, you can feel what you want, but
yeah,
Chris is
I know.
wrong.
I probably am wrong, but the beat really killed it for me. Like, really killed it.
All right, you know who's not a hater?
Ooh.
Eddie Murphy, and he lived at fucking Bubble Hill.
Just as quick as they came while I'm kicking back. Checking my chase app.
So once upon a time, Cannabis and Disaster had a battle. And yeah, he did pull out the notebook and read some poetry when he wasn't ready to fucking rap. It's a good video if you haven't watched it. It's fucking weird. He's like, you guys mind if I read some poems? And it's like a fucking rap battle and everything, and it's the most painfully awkward thing to watch. So it was cannabis. So anyway, just to throw it out there. So I listened to the Eddie Murphy's Bubba Hill song because it was linked, and it's 6 minutes of fucking Eddie Murphy, and he's a great singer. That song's trash in my opinion, but Bubba Hill is Eddie Murphy's fucking mansion. Apparently it featured bowling alley, recording studio, 13 bathrooms. It was a very exciting place, but the idea is for this song, and we see that right at the beginning. If you don't know better, dudes will think you have you think struggling is cool. It's not fucking cool. I hate struggling. I want to not struggle anymore. I will keep struggling until I don't have to struggle no more. But yo, you don't have to. Struggling should not be a thing to aim to. Like, you don't need to struggle to create art. Sure, a certain type of art requires struggle, but like there's other paths in life. So it's not cool. It's an unfortunate thing that happens to people. But when I write a bar, I can already see my dream. Car in a pool in the backyard. What the fuck is a carpool? Great line. So basically what he's trying to imply here is that when he's doing this, he's picturing something fucking better than what he has. And then I thought to myself, on top of this song being full of Eddie Murphy references, right? And it really, really is. And I didn't know that, so Genius helped me because I'm not the hugest Eddie Murphy fan. Thanks, Rap Genius. I wasn't overstanding this one, but basically you helped me. I'm just having fun with that. But ultimately, the idea is if you're going to be writing a song about like material wealth and things like that, and you're doing it from the perspective of I don't have it and I aim to acquire it, it's so cool. Like, all of a sudden, I want Droog to get rich too and get that house and shit. Whereas when you have your average rapper who can write the same song in a sense where it's flossy and etc., because they're putting it from the context of they already have it. I look around my 2-bedroom apartment that I own no property on, and I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, I know you want to fuck my girlfriend, smoke better weed, and pay for hoes and shit, but you're not cooler than me. I listen to Your Old Droog, and I can almost relate to the struggle and the cleverness and the desire and shit, and that is really a big difference. So in a sense, not only is Your Old Droog the shit, but the reason that these rappers can't do flossy tracks with him is because he can sound cool doing it, whereas they just sound annoying. I know you want to talk about this one. It's clicking. Money in my name like ASAP. I've been this way since Yams was managing me at 15. Y'all Dodgers and Martyrs, you know, because ASAP and probably Switch Your Style wants to hit the scene. I don't know if ASAP Yams was managing him. I don't know if that's what that line implied, but either way, or maybe that's just his people.
I mean, Yams, like, there's only one Yams that I know of in
I don't know what Yams.
World.
Who?
ASAP Yams. The
I
guy
don't know of
who
any
died.
other Yams. Either way, I didn't. Either way, my point is, that's a dope line and shit.
I mean, the dollar sign kind of gives it away. They like
I assumed.
I
I don't know if he was literally talking about him or if that was another pun, because it's very layered writing, and sometimes some shit goes over my head and whatnot. I mean, you got lines like, love to trade places and play alongside Aykroyd, the golden child with these joints that cleverly kill stop, but who you supposed to be, Beverly Hills Cop? That's a great movie, everybody. Just gonna throw it out there. More characters than Coming to America, leaving come like back like Boomerang, losers start another rumor, dang, now they saying I fuck with feet, which is again a whole Eddie Murphy plotline shit.
Coming to America is a movie and Boomerang is the joke.
Right.
His mother grandma used to whip the fucking
and then,
shirt.
but it's also like what's cool about it is he's almost describing his relationship with other people using all of this as references to describe it. Drop delirious and raw, asking why I don't do more. When you've done enough, you can afford to do little, and that's an interesting point. So if you even think back to fans being like, "Yo, Your Old Droog," when you drop in the next project, he's like, "Yo, I already did it. I put out some dope shit. Why do I have to make another album?" Which is an interesting perspective. Just like Eddie Murphy dropped two of the greatest things of all time in stand-up comedy. Like, why are you fucking pestering the man? Appreciate what the fuck you have is a way to look at it.
Right.
Anyway, this song is just as good as everything else on this project. It is equally as consistent. 4.5 on 5.
So, this song kind of reminded me of Headstone from Flashbush Zombies. the way that he kind of used a lot of Eddie Murphy references throughout the entire track, like skits and movies and stuff like that, is kind of the same way that Flatbush, they use like titles of songs and hip hop references to build a song as well. And I'm pretty sure I've heard it on some other rappers too. So it felt very authentic to me a little bit, something that's like part of the hip hop culture that they do. So that's something that was really cool that I got from this song. Honestly, that was pretty much it. Like, I don't actually have much else besides that. I feel he's kind of like flexing and chasing his dream on this. Like, he's kind of giving us this perspective of, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm going through the different motions. But I mean, it was okay. It wasn't really something that kind of stood out to me that much. I left it with a 4.
All right. The world's about to end because Chris keeps giving bad grades.
World's about to end.
So this beat's kind of ominous sounding, but still in the same vein of that old school traditional hip hop kind of nice sound of like lyric driven hip hop. Like, it's the kind of minimalistic side of beats that are there with the intent of giving the rapper the opportunity to shine. Like, it's not, I mean, the production is excellent. You totally vibe to it. I'm not trying to take away from the production in any kind of significant way. I'm saying that sometimes the production is beyond stellar. This is great production. It's not beyond stellar production in terms of like the sound that they're going for here. I apologize if that offends anybody. However, it really does its job of letting the lyrics pop out. But I want to skip ahead to the outro of this song when you have Bill Cosby talking about his sauce that appears to make everybody a little bit horny and shit. And he's talking to the lady how he's got a bottle of the sauce ready to go right now. And when you listen to that with the ominous fucking dark ass fucking lyrics.
Liquor.
No, it was sauce, barbecue sauce. This is from an episode of The Cosby Show.
Does okay, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, I know the sauce, but I was pretty sure like he kind of alludes to like he's got one fermenting upstairs or whatever.
Well, yeah, but it kind of sounded to me like that sauce was like, yo, well, we'll have that same barbecue sauce and we're gonna get ready to go. Right. But then you picture what Cosby's sauce was in real life, and you're like, ooh.
It was creepy the way they ended that. Like,
and then,
after everything we've heard.
And then like, you know, the way that this ends is, think y'all can see me, man, you goofies don't even proofread, and every chick you ever hit was probably roofied. I know it can't be hard for you balds, but even America's Dad had that barbecue sauce, and then it has like the skit at the end, and you're like, ooh, that's something serious there. But what did you think about this one?
I felt like this was a little bit of personal. One line he goes, had crazy doubts, crazy sprouts of depression, slow aggression, felt like giving up in every session. I told you losers, you don't choose this profession. I feel like he's getting a little bit personal, kind of telling us how he's kind of.
But I love that part, like, right?
Right.
Like, go on.
Oh, I was just saying, like, that's kind of what I got from it. That was one of the lines that when I first listened to it, it stuck out. Like, I felt, okay, he's letting us know what he's going through, the struggles.
But it's also like, if you really want to be a part of hip hop, it's not like again, because I feel like it's alluding to the fact that he's authentic and the world is fake. Like, ain't tripping on Billboard, we conquer the uncharted, you know, like, so it's like this skill driven thing, and he's not necessarily the happiest person. Like, he's actually dealing with real life shit like depression and problems and fucking hard ass shit. That's whatever. But the fact is, he's drawn to hip hop, even if it's complicated, even if there's political bullshit, even if there's ups and downs. It doesn't really matter, because this is his life and it can't be another way. Like, if you're true to the core, being part of that culture is something that is just part of you. You don't choose it. You're right. You can't just become it. You just are it, or you are not it. You know what? That's what I kind of took from that.
Right. In verse 2, he goes, play the alleys like a stray, never pet, sick puppy, it ain't get put down by a vet. Fuck did you expect? No connects, this book like the Torah, show respect. Again, like, kind of giving us, like, I feel like he's saying, like, I played in the alleyways, I had, like, certain things I had to do to kind of, like, you know, make it through or whatnot. And I still feel like he's giving us a little bit of insight of how he kind of grew up and where he's from. Another line, I laid low, worked better in that pressure cooker, hardly broke a sweat, there's more dough to go collect, came through this came through with that Lucy dip like I smoked the wet. That was so dope. That was so funny. He laid low. He doesn't speak much. He keeps to himself. He keeps quiet. Work better under that pressure cooker. Okay, so he's working under pressure, which is clever. And pressure cooker, I'm assuming he's cooking drugs. That's just me.
Well, it's also, work better in that pressure cooker. So on the one hand, it could be like that, but it alludes that it's got that feel to it. But it could also just be like the stress and pressure of life, of having people come at you, the expectations and shit. It puts the pressure on them, which refines you into a better person.
Hardly broke a sweat. There's more dough to go collect. I think he's drug dealing.
I don't think, but again, I think he's talking about the music, right? It alludes to it.
Yeah.
Like, what about his project? There's a line that's literally like someone else on the project, they're wearing Canada Goose but can't go to Canada. Like, I don't think I've heard anything from him that kind of goes in that direction. I think he has a past per se, but he wouldn't. I don't get the feeling that he'd rap about something like that so direct.
But okay, but to be clear, I don't think this is. When you say direct, do you mean like present?
It says chase a check, never chase a bitch. Motherfucker spent years trying to get me in the mix. I laid low, worked better in that pressure cooker. Hardly broke a sweat. There's more dough to collect. Came through with that Lucy dipped like I smoked the wet. Shit, I used to catch the A train to the left. To me, that just sounds like a guy grinding, chasing his dream, putting in the work, etc. It was hard. It wasn't easy to come through. Eluding that street lingo where it could be in that way. It's relatable to that shit.
Right.
But I'm not saying that as I'm selling drugs. I'm saying it like I come from that world. Maybe I'm not kind of authentic. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. And then just one line that I felt funny. Smoke the dower and set shit off like Boba Fett while these fancy clowns was wearing gowns at the Met.
Especially with the current Met with its camp theme, which Joe Budden and friends taught Chris all about, is why I'm picturing.
I love his podcast.
Yeah. So that's a point. Y'all fake and fancy. I'm OG legit.
But I enjoyed the song. This was really cool. I felt like there was, again, personal aspects to the song. The beat was on point. And it just had this, like, the Bill Cosby outro was pretty cool. The way that it kind of ended on a creepy note made me kind of just be like, whoa, there's like, he's trying to give out some message. Like,
but it's kind of questioning, like, look at these people who are famous, look at these expectations, look at this type of thing.
No, but that's it. Like, it's and I kind of took it a little bit more in terms of like the world itself. Like, even when you idolize somebody, right? Like, take Bill Cosby as an idol, forget like anything else. When you idolize somebody and then they turn out to be something else or whatever it is, it's like you start to feel a certain way. You start to feel like a part of you, or you've betrayed yourself or whatever, because you can find it in this idolization or whatever. So like it to me, it kind of felt like he's also trying to give out this message, like, you really got to be careful with who you trust, who you talk to, who you kind of deal with, who you kind of message with, because as much as they've got that secret sauce, you don't really know what that sauce is. Like, you don't really know what their intentions are at the end of the day.
They could be trying to roofie and rape you.
Exactly. 4.215.
All right. Why don't we then move on to the Bubushka?
And there's no need to dig up a hole. Did it yourself, stupid. Hit the scene like a big comet.
Bubushka means grandma, and that is some grandma-ass backing music up in this track. And first of all, this was the moment that I saw brilliance in the beat making, because like everything I said consistent, it's the same sounding shit over. Nope, this one sounds fucking different. I mean, it's the same basic overall tone of vibe.
Yep.
Just Bubushka music.
I feel like it's a little bit more homey, a little bit more like, it's not your average. I don't want to say average, but like, it's not your general sound. Like, this is when you hear this, you go to a place. Like,
yeah, and then when you listen to the raps, it still kind of sounds like Your Old Droog. Like, prefer to kick back, count stacks, eat, count chocolate in my pajamas, can't stop a deadline on something as timeless.
But it kind of feels like it's off the top.
Next year, opening for Primus, and so you get the sense that, you know, he already has money coming in. He's not very stressed. He doesn't feel a lot of pressure. He doesn't want to deal with deadlines. He's just going to do what he does, and when it's ready, it's out, and y'all just accept it, and that's what's up. And then because of his work, he's going to get to that next place. You'll be done talking out the side of your mouth, like Don and Mouse, like what you thought I was doing before. I dropped that eponymous, man. I miss being kind of anonymous. There's more to it than rap. You have to be some sort of politician, social worker / economist. I ain't finding this rigmarole, and there's no need to dig in my hole.
That's a dope line.
But like, yeah, because I guess of the dead people and digging a hole.
No, I was
but
talking.
Like in general, just the part where it's like when you do. So when Your Old Droog dropped, in case you weren't aware, people thought he was like Nas or something like that. Nobody knew who he was. He was just kind of a name. And
Okay,
people were
so
like,
I'm not crazy for thinking that he sounds like Nas on this album.
No, like he sounded like Nas
song.
his whole fucking career, according to like people thought Nas was like releasing a secret project under Your Old Droog at first. Then people found out who he was and whatever. So he's kind of pointing out when I was just putting out music and nobody knew who I was and it was just easy. It was fucking great. Then people found out who he was, and all of a sudden, like, you know, the microscope appears and everybody cares and shit. And he's kind of pointing out, I don't like that shit. Nah, it's not very fun. And then kind of goes back into like, kind of just wanting to like be himself and whatnot. You know, like, now fuck with me, get your mama hit, it's way too safe in this climate, catch him while he brunching and punch him in his face, knock over his kale omelette and that cute little salad with balsamic, put him in a fiend like a needle, fuck a Heimlich. And so in this world, it's a little bit PC and stuff, and he can't play the social politics game required with being in the spotlight. He's an unfiltered fucker ready to go. And if you think about it on that level, this old-timey beat is saying, I kind of miss the old days where people could be proper in the way that they lived some shit like my Bubushka had, you know?
Right. The line that I did want to talk about was the... There's more to it than rap. You have to be some sort of politician, social worker / economist, and I that really stuck out to me because it's like I've been thinking that for a while. Like, yeah, I want to be a rapper, I want to make music, but then I have to I kind of always find myself asking myself like, all right, what happens if I pop and I'm a rapper? What the fuck's my next move? And I guess for the longest time, and I know this is my own personal experience, but I feel like it's the only way I can explain how I feel with this song, or at least this line. For the longest time, I just wanted to make music. I just wanted to just be an artist, just pop out there. Here's an album, here's music, here's this, whatever. But I think that in like nowadays, you can't just be an artist. You have to do something. You have to branch out and kind of like give back to your community and give. And I'm not saying that that's not what artists have ever done. No, they've always given back. But I feel like there's a difference between choosing to give back and then having this expectation of now that that you've achieved this level of success, you're obligated to morph into a different move into a different direction where we can accept you still. Because if you're just gonna make music, you might fall off. And I feel like, but if that's what people are choosing to do, like, just let them make music. I don't know. I guess I'm just conflicted with my own thoughts.
There's bigger shit than that, right? So,
right.
I mean, the fact that, like, you can't just be an artist and that social politics play in ties into shit like censorship and attacks the purity of the art form. And if you look at the way that pop music shapes people's expectations, I mean, without checks and balances, it's like anything can run rampant. And so you want to just make music cool, but that's not true. You also want people to hear your shit. And to get to that point, if everybody's just listening to Bobo motherfucker telling you to pop a bunch of pills and kill yourself, nobody might be listening to your shit, you know? Like, it just then, what is the impact of that on everything? What does that do to future generations? What is the 14-year-old listening to the Bobo rapper compared to how many people might hear a Your Old Droog and get inspired? So it's like, you know, it's just, there's a bigger conversation to be had about that shit. I don't know, I give it a 4.6 because the beat's better and I really fucking dig the overall concept and like it's a short little ditty. It's one of the smaller ones on this project. It's a minute and a half, but it does a lot with that minute and a half.
I mean, I gave it a 4. I thought it was what it was. It was a bring you back to my hometown, kind of like nostalgic a little bit. I feel for him, and he just kind of did his thing on it. It didn't really, and now I'm not saying that everything has to be structured, right? But it didn't feel like this was a structured song. This felt like we're gonna take it back to the old school and just do what you do and have fun. Now maybe he wrote a track to this. Maybe he actually wrote bars to this or whatnot. But I feel like
this is a track, Chris.
Right. But it kind of has this like kind of free flowing feel to it for me.
But like so does the whole project. It's just kind of this is what I gotta say. Like I think
no.
I think only one of the songs before this even has a hook. Like everything has kind of had this form to it.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like when I say free flow, I feel like this song itself, the way that I'm interpreting it and the way that it kind of it was presented, and I'm taking away from it is like it really just feels like this is the old time music. I'm just gonna kind of spit a freestyle on this.
I'm not gonna lie, the whole album sounds like that.
Okay.
That's my point. Like lyrically, this is as consistent as like what I'm trying to ask then is what song doesn't feel like that?
The last one, like the first couple of songs didn't feel like a freestyle.
I mean, Gyros is just like a verse. He just drops it and it goes.
Right, but it felt more like just one of those one verse tracks. Like it wasn't just like go and do it. Like it had a little bit of a build
what's
up.
the difference?
I don't know. It just sounded. There's no difference. I guess if that's how he raps, that's how he raps. I'm not discrediting that. It just felt
like,
more.
I'm just trying to understand what about this one feels not like what.
I think it's just maybe for me it's just like it's short and that's kind of what I associate it with. That's just my.
I don't know. It just sounds like he wrote till he was done, and then he was done on that one when he was done, and then they have their little skit at the end with the thing, and it's just whatever. I wasn't so into that part. I don't know. Anyway. The next track on this project features Mach-Hommy again, and it's called Funeral March, the Dirge.
Hey Thomas, and we don't swing bats on raw bases, just a bunch of closed caskets.
This is a great fucking beat. Just kind of uplifting in this dark, depressing way, and they just fucking rap over it solo. Man, honestly, the way they flow, they may as well be freestyling for how natural it sounds, how airy just lets off.
Points made.
Lyrical fucking flowiness to it all. You know, it may as well just be. I think it was written, but it could be freestyling. How do you feel about this song, Chris?
I do enjoy their back and forths and how they mesh together. I feel like there's this kind of like army sounding, like just with the trumpets and everything. It just kind of sounds like.
Well, it's a funeral march. Like it's like kind of
exactly.
Like,
so that was cool. They did their thing. Honestly,
so
there wasn't.
What Chris
lyrics.
isn't telling you is that the lyrics have the intro part up there.
4 bars.
So Hommy coming in, and then Your Old Droog kicks in the beginning, and he was like, I wasn't overstanding without Genius's assistance.
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. I left it with a 4 on 5. I don't really know what they said overall.
Well, here's a great, brilliant line I enjoyed, considering the title. Just a bunch of closed caskets, open cases. A lot of motherfucking murders in the hood and shit, but nobody gets caught. Just in one line, depth. Or when Mach-Hommy's like, that's worth a $500,000. Some folk ain't got nothing. Others are rich, you have to kneel. That's the deal. My ratchet pill, you push on daffodil. Rapid chill. And then Droog just cuts him off midline, perpetuating the facade of a trapper still. Wow, y'all must be snorting Valium. Only plug you ran office is when you forgot to tell them to buy your album. These guys be dry snitching, gossiping like women do, but skimming through your album. Y'all on sound like bad criminals. And when I heard that, I'm like, there's no way that other line was him dry snitching himself as a drug dealer. You know what I mean? He said that on this song. Why would he be so inconsistent?
Fair enough.
But like I hear this, and when you consider it, it's like, again, apparently, and I asked this because somebody in the comments on Rap Genius, the site that Your Old Droog isn't a fan of, said this song made me sign up to say someone on these lyrics. Are they Griselda shots or am I crazy? So now I have to know, internet, is this taking shots at Griselda? Because, yo, I like Griselda too. And if all these little crews I'm liking are beefing and shit, that's going to be exciting because I'm actually in the loop on that shit. So I just wanted to know if y'all could, like, comment on that and let me know. But you do get the sense here that they're established, they're proper, they're actually doing their thing. Meanwhile, there's some fake ass rappers who might be bragging about crimes they don't actually commit, or if they are, they're snitching themselves out. They're maybe not behaving in the proper real G's move in silence mentality. I love the idea that the only plug you ran off with, implying you're not actually selling drugs, is that plug of when they could have plugged your own album and you chose not to because you have no fucking balls. I was like, that's fucking dope. Y'all sound like terrible criminals. I'm not really into that shit. Is basically the vibe he's doing it. One of my favorite lyrics that I don't know if everyone's gonna catch it. Unsung like an instrumental, let it play, add words, then collect the proceeds. And I was like, that is one of the best lines on this album. So unsung like an instrumental, there's no lyrics on this shit. He lets it play, okay. Or like a video that you let play, like this very video you clicked on, that you're playing through. There's some little yellow lines there. That is ads. and AdWords or AdWords, AdSense in that whole universe. I guess AdWords and AdSense aren't exactly the same. AdWords would be like more the keyword targeting that you would do to push your ad to the front, which would then in turn collect you money from AdSense. So they're related. But when you add words to a naked instrumental and put the song out, it kind of functions in the same way. Either way, collect the proceeds. That's what's up. I put oof in my notes because it was such a hot line. Or when he goes, be on stage, hit the Grammys like Kendrick's good, but Old Droog is better. Whoever's contest that is Grim, Old Droog is the best. Whoever contests that is Grim Repercussions. Like it's the Grim Reaper and there's fucking cushions. And I'm like, that's dope. That's fucking ridiculously dope in the sense that he manages to take... It's like when you get Scrabble and you get next level points because you're putting words on words like that. Like somebody put down Grim Reaper thinking they're cool and you're like, oh, you think you're cool? That triple bonus score? Well, that's what happens when I put cushion on that motherfucker. And I like that a lot. This is my favorite song on the album.
Oh, nice.
At this point, at least. It's a 5 on 5. The back and forth is dope. The lyrics is fucking dope. The whole feel is fucking dope. And it's dope. I don't know what else to say.
It's dope.
So Chris is like, I don't have much more to say either.
It's a 4 on 5. I enjoyed this song.
It's almost
overall.
like Chris is consumed by drinking at Devil Springs.
I ain't know what to do with L's. Watch how I doctor the leaf.
Okay, this beat's hype. Sounds kind of stand up. It's got a fucking good feel to it. Spoiler alert, the lyrics weren't there when Chris reviewed the album. You know how I know? Because I added the fucking lyrics to Genius after Chris was at work, and then he comes to my place after work. So I know that. So, Chris, what's your grade?
It was a 4.
Do you have other comments, just so that they know I'm not really being a shit? I mean...
No, I've
been doing this with Chris for over 2 years.
I literally read it on the way here, and I was like, I still don't get it, but the song's cool.
So on that note, if the lyrics are wrong, I transcribed it, and I'm not a great transcriber. Anyway, some short, wordy hype. Oh, that's my notes. I fucking added my notes to Genius. Anyway, and then you have like the beat going like, ain't no, and then we got some... so he goes, ain't no 99 bananas. We got some Devil Springs like that, smoking on deck. And then it goes, there's no one fucking with me. And then it kind of vibes a bit with playing up on the beat he's responding. I'm like, that's cool. We haven't seen a lot of that on the project. And then lyrically, I just thought this whole fucking verse is dope. Can't just wear one, I need several rings. It's got like this upbeat, faster pace, like rapping to this one. Hell band like we sipping Devil Springs. The aim is to not get big and famous. Do this if I was nameless. They couldn't see me back when I was a little ignoramus. Talk to him with some Christ and my boss of briefs. You ain't what to do with the L's. You ain't know what to do with the L's. Oh, I put the wrong no. Embarrassing. How I doctor to leave end careers. Mic check in like a fat dude eating it will take seconds. Too much gotta put in the doggy bag for later. More than enough for you haters and swag aggregators. Basically, he's legit about that craft. He's not in it for the fame and shit. He's in it for the purity of it, to drop that dope shit and get that money and do his things all proper. Whereas the contrast is a bunch of flashy fuckers in it for the swag and whatnot. I really like.
A lot.
I really like when he's like, I'm an innovator, secret technique integrator. Before I be you, I stick my dick in a grater, turn my zucchini into batter. You know your role. Use a fan. Just because we chill one time doesn't mean I'm your man. Oh, that's your man? He's a snake. Only met me in passing like he saw me at a wake. Trying to network like Old Droog. He's a star. Your daughter back home swallowing dicks, huh? Thinking it's all... This is my favorite line in the album. Thinking it's all PG like Disney, you should see how nasty her pics are. Because Disney, Pixar, get it? And then that's not PG because she's slopping on some fucking dicks with her mouth. Maybe she's got a cock in her ass or some shit. It's some nasty ass, not so Pixar stuff. Like Disney's so PG. Then The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, there's a whole war scene, not a drop of blood. I digress. This song kind of follows suit in the same line of what we've been hearing so far. I mean, I'm not really expecting a bunch of new now, but I did think this is just as fly as everything else we've heard. I did really enjoy it. I mean, I wrote all those lyrics, so I wanted to read them to y'all and whatnot, but honestly, it's just fly rhyming, touches on the same sort of stuff. 4.5 on 5. Ridiculously great track.
One thing I did want to comment is, as while I was reading it on the way here and going through the verse, I like how he kind of looks. It kind of seems like he's just doing it for the craft itself. says a lot more, I feel, about the song and the way that you would write as an artist than when you're just doing it for the money. I like how a lot of the rappers that I hear that are like this lyrical and this deep, they're not really these type of flashy rappers, at least the ones that I listen to or that I've heard of. They're not really flashy and all up in your face and whatnot. They kind of do stick to themselves and kind of play more of the, I'm going to say, underground scene, but just very, very loosely. I'm not using that term heavily. So I think that says a lot, and I like how he follows it up with like, this is why I don't have to be flashy, because I can write things like this. So
fair enough. And it's that good. Like, as a writer, and I'm a professional writer, as in not like I'm an author or some shit, as in part of my day job, my profession involves me writing, like blogging and shit. Like, I literally write for a living. Therefore, I'm super into writing, and I like a good writer. You know what else is delicious? S'mores. S'mores are fucking delicious.
Y'all only good for boo for drugs and your ass cracks. Facts. Like a sax.
This track's about darkness and awful shit. Like, and I don't mean that like whatever. I think it's about how like dark and aimless everything is, you know? Know to ask you life so well. Still taking little lotions for I check out the hotels. As in, that's the dark side of life, being poor and shit. To the point where even though he might not be no more, his mentality has him still jacking free lotions and shit from hotels. And but who doesn't jack the free lotions from the hotels? It says complimentary. That means it's free. Crib filled with empty pizza boxes and lawn chairs. But every time I think that I'm in trouble, my word bubbles like Montclair's. And then one of my favorites, dudes wearing Canada Goose can't even get into Canada. Damn shame. I have a friend of mine who wanted to go see Kodak Black. What happened to Kodak Black? Can't get into Canada over some dumbass gun shit. Like, you just keep seeing it. Like, it's weird to think that like you can't get into Canada. You know, like for me, that's a weird idea, but we're actually cracking down on our border because you guys are cracking down on the border, so it's fucked up. Imagine, you can't even come party in Montreal. That is actually something you're missing out on.
But Maul comes to Montreal like twice a week, apparently.
Really? From Joe Budden?
Yeah, he came up. There's an actual episode where they dank on him because he came up to Montreal, went back down to the States, and came right back up. I think it's because I'm talking so much shit. I do not want to get clipped, but I remember it's like...
Nobody cares if you talk shit about Maul.
I do. I respect Maul. Straight up. I'm going to say that. I fucking love the whole podcast. I guess he forgot something. The joke was like, Maul's the type of guy who will go to Montreal, forget his wallet in the States, come back, and then drive back to Montreal the same night. And he's like, well, fuck, I was chilling.
That's fair. I liked it still. So he goes through, Your Old Droog does that whole first verse, and it's proper. But really, I was interested in Lil Ugly Mane's verse. And
really?
Part of why I wanted to talk about this is simply because, like, the whole album, when I saw Lil Ugly Mane was featured, I was like, oh, that's exciting. Because Bonnie and I talked about his album, what's it called? The one with the red cover, the 10-minute EP. I can't remember what it's fucking called now. Something, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, you Lil Ugly Mane fans. We did the fucking review of the project. One where it says, corrupted by the darkness, you fall into an endless sleep. Whatever. That project, it was such an interesting exploration of like the aimlessness of stuff and the consequences of your actions and maybe what you put out into the world and shit. Either way, you listen to the lyrics. A juggle diagnosis is catatonic magic potion, static hopeless, manic out of focus, knocked around by nauseous oceans, put the emphasis on endlessness, behold the prince of emptiness. And it's just this like vague way of pointing out that like I'm a little bit fucked up and maybe not so sober and everything's kind of crazy and out there, but I feel empty. And it just looks like this whole verse looks at emptiness, you know? Just a mask of squirming rats that gnaw his skin and bloody fat, drainage of his solitude that pools beneath his crooked feet, nothing but the bones of me, cold and barely moving. Just picture this decrepit, broken, vile, rotting potpourri. It's fucking great, man. An idle hand that masturbate confusion with suggestion. Listen to your voice a million times and never hear it. I'm alone in my abandon and I'm slowly disappearing. The ugly man, the king of all that's empty. Popping off them things till they empty. Buying out the bar till the last bottle empty. Oops, they try to hide but they're gonna see them eventually. Skirt. Anyway, I really just like this thing, man. It just feels like he's so into the dark, blunt honesty and depression of his life, let's say, that he just puts it out like this is what's real to him.
He is real.
And then Wiki comes in, does the third verse. You know, I don't think it's quite as potent per se, but it's also fucking good. Like, bucks bulging, sluts closing. Who the fuck chosen? Must be the luck of the mucks chosen. I'm glowing up at my pulpit. Who the culprit of the bullshit I've been hearing roast him? Thought you was close to him, trying to toast him. Like you ain't got shit you owe him. Like I ain't saying no to him. Keep it going. Got a lot of shit to speak unspoken. Like how it's 2019 and fiends still be doping. So it's kind of like people still fake. I'm not lying, you know, just the fact that the opiate epidemic, like it's so bad with the fucking opiate situation that Canada is pumping ads all the time of what to do. If you see somebody, like, it's a good Samaritan law, you won't go to jail if you did drugs too, just call the fucking 911. Or like I did first aid training recently, and there was a whole thing on getting Narcan and how to deal with that situation, because it's actually so fucking prevalent. And they teens what? No one told them. They ain't see. Not supposed to say that's the way it be. And again, the role models. Yeah.
So if you're as a teenager, you're at a party, you're all fucked up, and one of you call 911, the person
over somebody having an overdose, the person who did the drugs isn't in trouble. Like if you're also high and you call them, you're immune from getting charged for that in that context.
You're still in that proper state to call 911. You made that judgment call.
Anyway, it's so fucking good to me. I feel like this track is one of the best on the absolute album. Dark, grimy, lyrical, but multiple styles of lyricism, and everybody just complements each other so fucking well. And I gave this song a 5 on 5, and I really, really, really enjoyed it.
I liked the song. I thought it had a lot of different creativity to it. I don't actually have anything, not anything negative to say besides the fact that I felt like it dragged on. I don't know if it was just because given my schedule, I'm doing this Friday nights late at night, so I'm slightly tired. But I don't know if it was because I was tired, drained, but it felt just like...
But let's say you're not catching all the references, and it just sounds like you gotta listen to this barrage of lyrics. I can see how if you're... Because there was at least one song here where I was like, okay, I had to like force myself to get into it, because my brain was like, okay, this has been a huge barrage. It's not simple to chain listen to this album.
Fair enough. But I do like the different styles. Ugly Mane really kind of captivates that dark... empty feeling inside, which I really kind of went back and really listened to, because I wanted to see if it's more like there's actually real emotion in there. It doesn't just seem like an act. It's coming from a specific place of like understanding, and what he's saying is like really just he's sat and thought about this for years. It's kind of what I'm feeling like. Your Old Droog did really good. I don't think I really guess I understood his verse on what he was trying to say. And Wiki, to me, just felt like he was smoking, having a good time, kind of like we out here living a little bit. So I thought it was a nice track. I left it with a 4 just because I was like, oh my god, it's over now. Like,
that's fine. Chris didn't like it. Why don't we talk about the ugly truth that like Chris didn't like it?
Beverly, they building can have a broken arm, they still slang paralyzed.
Man, this is another great lyrical fucking onslaught. I mean, right off the jump. Check. Oh shit. If you don't like Droog, then you don't like truth. Get 'em. I don't goof around in the soundproof booth. I need the crown like your brown tooth. They trifle the youth. I don't salute the anthems like Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. I don't know who that is. He apparently created controversy by refusing to stand for the national anthem. And oh, I can see. That's a clever way of citing the intent without using the Kaepernick obvious move. Good on you, my man. Here's a nugget from the king, the real thing, not a puppet on a string. So right out the jump, his rhymes are real, and I take some appreciation to that. I rap, I'm not famous by any means, but I don't lie in my rhymes. I take that shit super serious. I don't like to say grandiose shit. I don't like to exaggerate, well, maybe a little exaggeration, but I don't like to like make shit up about who I am to get fucking things. I don't like to lie to the kids and shit. I don't like to be a bad role model. I don't like to salute bullshit anthems. I don't like to, like getting a bag is a good motive, but if all your be-all end-all is to get a bag, like go fuck yourself. There's more to life than that shit, And it just flows on through. Like, it's really just great rhyming in the same vein of the type of shit we've been going on to. I liked when he goes, "Where the hell have you been?" Got props from Face Mob, and if I understand correctly, Scarface is responsible for Face Mob.
Yep.
I'm the dude who made Only Built for Cuban Links. Do you know who that is? That's motherfucking Raekwon. I'm going to see Raekwon July 12th because I cop tickets for the Wu-Tang, and they ain't nothing to fuck with. So both those props went to him in the same week. And then he goes, "Word," and I like that because word is bond is something Raekwon says a lot on Built for Cuban Links. Ain't nothing you can tell me. I've been the truth. They just want someone cuter. And so what I'm hearing there is it's not really about your rhymes then. And if you think about what Machine Gun Kelly had to say to Mr. Marshall Mathers in his classic song Rap Devil, he pointed out how ugly Eminem is and how he's not fashionable and shit. "I'm sick of the sweatsuits and a corny beard. Let's talk about it." Really, when did it come to a point where what you look like and being attractive is the big thing? Fuck that. All the old classic rappers are kind of ugly.
Instagram.
But like that's the thing. It's like honestly,
Twitter,
if I was like a model,
social media,
my career would be a lot fucking
2003.
hotter. Like if I look like Brad Pitt and shit, I'd be doing better. And the world is that fucking vain. It's fucking whack. Whereas nah, I'm not about that life. Neither is Old Droog. It's about fucking pride. It's about the real shit. It's about doing it proper.
So, question. You
Hold
that
on. Money Machine clicking caught out Robot Chicken making waves with Adult Swim. Yaw in the kiddie pool.
Hey.
Because Robot Chicken's on Adult Swim. That's a fucking good line. Anyway, go on.
Well, you remember how he had a line on one of the tracks? He was talking about like when I wasn't famous, he kind of enjoyed that better.
Well, anonymous, not necessarily famous.
Right. Do you think that might change the game? Like, imagine if like you just put out music anonymously and never had an interview or
Well,
nothing.
if I had like all the money coming in, that sounds like perfect. You can just be like whatever. But personally, I kind of like. I'm a little more vain than Your Old Droog. But really, as I get older, there's some part of me that almost wishes we did this anonymous and you didn't know who I was and you didn't see my face because it's a scary world out there. But still, I like when he goes from Mickey D's down in the fall. Thumping out Your Old Droog will always come to light. Thumping out every car every summer night in the fall and the spring and the winter from Mickey D's down by Reddit Center. No catchphrase or tricks. My lyrics be my signature, bitch. It's what's gonna help me get richer. You know, so it's really just like about that authenticity. That's why I think like he takes his music so serious and he's such a talented rapper that he knows that it's just gonna be that authentic shit that people like. It's fucking dope. This song's a 4.75. Hype beat, hype fucking experience, excellent fucking song.
I like the line, Herb's only tough on phones or on a computer, hide behind a screen like a spied up shooter. Your biggest haters, closeted fans. I like that. That's some real shit. Like, a lot of the people who kind of hate what you do are kind of also the same people who want to kind of be you because they envy what you're capable of doing or the work you're putting in.
That's what a hater is.
I also like sound better when it's not forced clowns mad. I wouldn't get on their song calling me uppity. Oh, he's snobbity. I just need that bag first like a cup of tea. That was pretty cool.
I mean, it's a true point. Like, I mean, I don't mind working with you if I holler at you and I'm like, I want to work with you. But let's say I don't necessarily want to be working with you. It's like, even to accept to do a song, that's like 8 to 10 hours of your life probably. Maybe less, depending on who you are and how much effort you put in. I'm exaggerating a bit, but if you think about just the talking with the other person, the back and forth, the recording it, the sound engineering, all of that shit that goes into it, it's effort. So if I want to do the song, it's a cool idea, but it's not uppity to be like, nah, I don't want to do it. It's like, oh, you want me to do it? Incentivize me with some cash. Hey, I want to do it now.
Right.
That sounds like it's uppity, but it also sounds like you want to hook up from Droog if you're not willing to pay. Now, Droog wants to do it with you. He'll let you know. Otherwise, you're not being a good Droog to Your Old Droog. Anyway.
Businessman. But those were just a couple lines that I actually enjoyed. I do think that the way that he presented this song and called it The Ugly Truth and how he just kind of, I guess, divulged a lot of just information was just really, really cool and honest. I left it with a 4.2.
All right. Well, the truth is, we might be chasing lots of people watching our podcast, or we might be chasing ghosts.
God, when she bound was not to make this a lot. Said, honey, money.
So about a year ago and 2 days, I fell off my bike and it fucked up my hairline. And so I think it's to this day I cut my hair. And this is exactly 1 year without going to a barber or no shit. That's how much hair I can grow in a year. So this song is the one I had a little bit of trouble getting into. So I started talking about my hair. It's a little familiar sounding and whatnot, and it does feature Rock Marciano, who does sound great. But if I go to like Your Old Droog, get on the mic like the first time, long time body rappers with my worst rhyme, strong rhyme, the fan speeding off from chasing a ghost, the cats who held New York down like the Mason in the post. So he's solid. He's chasing the purity. He's going after the excellent squads. And you know what? I know I'm sounding a little bit whatever, but listening to this one, I felt like Chris 5 songs ago, and I was having some trouble like getting into it. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, damn right, I got a story to tell, from hell to euphoria, a glorious tale. In order to succeed, I really had to fail, trying to kick in that door to no avail. Dead of the luck, felt like I was struck a never-ending game of Pac-Man. Couldn't get it back. Rhyme Lucy's for Pakistan, too short. And you know what? I'm not trying to hate on this, because when I listen to it and I think about it, it's as good as everything else we've been listening to. And the rhymes is proper. And you listen to his story, and it is inspiring to see a guy. And I love the fact that he could admit that it wasn't this perfect, glamorous things. There were hard times. It wasn't simple. He still did it, you know. Y'all seen my bitch like y'all ain't seen my bitch like she in a Muslim garb when she bows not to make a salat. It said, honey money, I'ma make a salat on the ground like a peppercorn up in the land of the crooks. You know, there's some secrecy to his world. Everything's about that grind, about that situation. It's totally fine. I don't really have a lot more to add to it. It's a good verse that is equal to all the other verses.
There's 2 verses here.
And then Rock Marciano's there too, and he does his part, and it's good. He sounds proper next to him, but I just don't know that I really have a lot that I can say about it. It's a fine verse. That white gold's about $250,000. I'm looking really saucy when I sport my jewelry. Horse and Remy, Lord forgive me if I'm talking silly. Spilled the lorcan and then go toss the semi sorta like a frisbee. I'm like, okay, it's all right. It's not great. It sounds a little bit more like the people that Droog is talking about than Droog himself. Then Droog comes back after and does a whole other verse, and I'm still like, I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, days off, you know, see me wildin'. I'm eating chicken wings with scallions, with Meg Thee Stallion, freestyling, writing rhymes, Ouija, sipping Fiji by the gallon, watching rappers pass the musical guest on Drew Me Fallon, with more shitty performances than Gigi Allen. It's true. I don't know that I want to go on Jimmy Fallon. I don't like that guy. I would rather not go on his show, even if there was money at stake, personally. It just feels like it's the same sort of shit. Y'all fake, we legit, that's what's up with it. But I had a lot more trouble getting into it. But objectively, I recognize it's very good. So I give it a 4.35 on 5.
Nice. For me, the song, I feel like there's this sense of honesty to it. Now, in terms of chasing ghosts, I feel like it's kind of like they're chasing their dream. The first verse, Drew kind of gives off this feel of like, this is kind of where he comes from. This is what he's been doing growing up. He kind of told himself he'd make money. He told his girlfriend he'd make money. He'd make a lot of it. And that's kind of the idea of this song, is that they are chasing this dream of fame, money, comfortability, security, stability, whatever. And that's kind of what I get the flow of going through Droog's verse, you know, dead out my luck, felt like I was stuck in a never-ending game of Pac-Man, couldn't get back, rhyme Lucy for the Pakistan. Like, it's you kind of just feel like he's doing all of this to achieve and succeed and move forward. Same thing with Rock Marciano. Kind of get this idea that he's like kind of he's kind of got money. He's caught, you know, the chains cost him $250,000. But you also still get this halfway through the verse. You get this like kind of like, we grew up like this. We kind of have this mentality that we wanted to be this. We kind of drink and we get the barbershop lineups to look crispy, as if like we need to look good to be rich, and you have to look rich to be rich, and all that type of mentality. And then on the third verse, I feel like Your Old Droog kind of takes it on a flip side and goes like, well, I'm rich now. And shit's still like the Wild Wild West. I'm coming out blazing, do what I gotta do. But it's like there's still things that are happening. Like, even though he's still, now at this part of his life, he's still chasing a bigger ghost, a bigger dream in a sense. Kind of like what he sees, the money bags, the millions and trillions of dollars that he could have is like the ghost in a sense. The whatever, women, cars, drugs, however you want to look at it, what succession is, it's like those are the ghosts. And there's always going to be a ghost. And that's kind of what I got from this. And the way he kind of like hear the voice of the Yod sermon, like this became a whole ceremony, like this whole thing of trying to learn and educate you on like, this is part of the struggle that we chase, is that we're trying to be something, and then when we become it, we want to be something else now that's even more developed, and we can't, like, it's kind of like you'll never be happy. Right. In a way. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I really thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.3.
All right. Why don't we talk about the haunted house beat that's not a house beat? So it's like a haunted house beat that is a house beat, and it plays through for a while, and it's all right. The beat's actually kind of cool. It's flowing. And then it cuts to like this phone call, and it's like, yo, what happened? And then Mach-Hommy just does it literally is like he phoned in the verse, but I bet he was in the studio and they used that previously mentioned phone effect. Yeah. And he raps this shit. And it was super fucking hard to listen to because it had that effect on it, and it sounded like it was coming through a phone. And I said to myself, because the lyrics aren't online, I don't give a fuck enough to actually put in any effort to transcribe or quote anything on this, because it was just this fuzzy fucking rap verse at the end of the song. So I didn't. The house beat part is really nice. I did.
But it's not a house beat.
I enjoy listening to the beat. How it ended, probably would have given it like a 4.25. But that part at the end I didn't enjoy. I felt like it was effort that I had to put in, but it wasn't for Droog. It was for Droog's homie, which is fine, but that's not the same thing as Genie Sanitation spoiling it. I'm not paying you for transcriptions of Mach-Hommy's part at the end of your song, Droog. So I gave it a 4.1. I recognize it's fun, and I bet if I listened to it, I could hear that the rhymes were good. I'm not trying to, it was rapped really well. It was okay. It was like, what is this? Unlike, which we forgot to mention, the dope-ass acapella part of, like, the Ugly Truth mix, where it just fucking, like, cuts through and he's just rapping. It sounds dope. This didn't sound that dope.
Nice. I actually I enjoyed this. It was just an instrumental. It was bumping. I had a great time kind of putting it on repeat. My thoughts of the little freestyle thing was kind of cool. Kind of felt like an audition. Like, the way he ended it was like, was that good? What do you think, man? Like, he had that confidence in him and stuff. So, I don't know. I felt like he was just kind of paying homage to his buddy. He just kind of giving his buddy a little shout out at the end. And it was nothing too... I guess it was supposed to not sound polished or whatnot. I think he may have phoned it in. But it just seemed really raw and authentic and just off the top. And that was kind of old school about it. So it was cool.
That's fine. There's still a good song left on this project, though. So why don't we talk about 90 from The Line?
When the breeze stopped falling and my speed going started to decline. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a lot more to comment thematically on this track. It has a hook, though, and the hook is pretty nice. When them threes stop falling and the lines ain't flying, I'll be fine, yeah, it's all good. If my body breaks down, I'll just beat them with my mind. You know, like, I know I fucked up the rhythm. I don't care. You know, truth be told, because I make my money at the line shooting 90%. I just get the sense that he's, again, realistically achieving his shit, putting in the work, doing what he's got to do, and rhyming proper. I really enjoyed it. The beat's got this great bop your head kind of vibe. It almost feels like it picks you up a little bit after the last track. And yeah, I like when he goes, give a damn about what a sucker said, I'm all about them ducats. And in case you weren't sure what ducats were, he does the comma space pun, bread, clarifies it. The chicken on my mind like Buckethead, and I found out there's a guy named Buckethead who is a guitarist who performs with a KFC bucket on his head.
Yes, he's a real thing. I've seen him.
Anyway, and it just flows on through, and he's talking about his girl's fucking dope and this and that, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I do like when he got the second verse, got your boo thing coming like a hurricane licking twat, more untouchable than workers at the chicken spot. You think she at home watching Bird Box? I'm the Bird Box behind that foss like Rupert Murdoch's stocks. My favorite part was he goes from this conventional I'm gonna fuck your girl shit to literally referencing the guy who owns Fox News and his stocks and shit, and showing his kind of next level what. Fuck rap, I'm about to get me crazy bad from Netflix, David Letterman money. First of all, the David Letterman show on fucking Netflix is next level, and you absolutely should watch it if you have not. Stupid Pet Tricks, which is also something I guess David Letterman got rich for. Ovations, not acoustics, electrics, and pull it off like a guitar lick. I heard you with a song saying, your rhyme need more garlic. Anyway, it's just proper. It's what we've been getting on this album. album. It's a strong fucking end to this shit. There's the phone effect skits on this one where they do that, and that's how they kind of like end out the album together, and it just kind of sounds fun, like yo, I'm such a talented rap shit, and it just ends with like this fun little session-y thing at the end with the engineer. Like, this is just what the music process is like. We're just doing what feels right, and then it sounds good. Overall, 4.5 on 5. Excellent way to close out this project. Super fun to listen to.
Nice. I enjoyed the old school track. I enjoyed having that boom bappy feel and kind of bringing it back that way. I honestly don't have much to say. I will tell you the honest truth. I was bored by this. Not like the song itself was boring. It's just this was, for me, a lot of lyrics, a lot of condensed and just into it. But this had that like kind of freeing, refreshing type feel to it. It wasn't so condensed. It was just kind of old schooly and boom bappy. And I know I repeated myself. That's really all I have to say about the song. I gave it a 4.1. I enjoyed it. It was a good way to wrap up the album.
Alright, so that's the end of this album, and we are talking again about Your Old Droogs. It wasn't even close project. I give it a 4.56. In the vein of an album dropping in 2019 that sounds like it could come out in like, I don't know, 97, be just as fresh, fucking dope, but with references to let you know it's new. Like, it's excellent. This is for the heads. This is for all the people who consistently whine about how nobody makes good music no more. This is absolutely old school beats, rhyming at a top tier level, like an absolutely top tier level. The flows, the actual quality of the words being used, everything about this is brilliant. So if you're into the deep, you gotta listen to it 5 times to get the message type rhyming. I guess if you're a Doom fan, that type of world, this is absolutely a classic in that regard in terms of this modern world of music and shit. Is it gonna be a classic of the ages? I don't know. But of all the albums I heard recently, this is one of the most pure hip-hop, dope-ass, old-school, golden era type shit we come across in a minute. And what year did it come out in? 2019. Fuck out of here with good music isn't being produced. That's all I'm trying to say. This show just keeps proving time and time again that hip-hop is blessier than it's ever been.
So my grade is based on my lack of knowing half of the references on the album and the depth and the messages coming from it. I gave it a 3.82.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, and I think, and honestly, I'm going to say this. I'm going to come back to this album once I have put other things under my belt and read a couple more books and kind of got, a little bit up there on the smarticle ladder. But I feel like once I might understand a little bit more and catch more references, I think that I could fully grasp the concepts of a lot of these songs. So whenever that gets around, I'll let you know when the grade changes. But for right now, yeah, that's what it is.
To be fair, it really is the kind of album where you either catch what's being said and see the brilliance, or if you don't, it's going to be just like a lot of wordy. Like, your first Wu-Tang album is probably not something where you caught all the nuances of what was being said. You usually have to listen to it a few times for it to pick up. So that's just kind of the kind of album it is. So I think this is the kind of reaction you'll get from people who either get it, or not to no disrespect, or like people who just feel like I'm not catching all of these different things. Anyway, that's fine. Thank y'all for being here with us. It means the total world to us that you will watch these reviews. I want to look forward to seeing all of your comments so we can have a conversation down there like we started with the favorite comment of last week. Maybe your comment will be that comment. You want to talk shit, you want to talk positive, anything you want to say. Unlike those other people on YouTube, I'm okay with you talking shit in my comment section. On top of that, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams. They support what we do. They helped us get a new camera. They get access to content early. They sometimes they get to tell us what albums to review. So like, we'll be covering one of Linda Williams' requests soon. Jonathan Barnes in 2 weeks gets a request from him. So if you join us on a Patreon, you can kind of swing it. So if you've been waiting 6 months for us to do an album, it's a great way for you to get us to do your album next week, kind of thing. Not next week, but you'll see when we get there. I digress. If you want to just support what we do, though, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It really means the world. It tells YouTube we're cool. Hit that like button. Tells YouTube we're cool. Comment. Tells YouTube we're cool. Big comments tells YouTube we're super cool. Anyway, thank y'all for all that. You know, we both make music. We got shit popping off on this channel. I drop a project. I finished recording. I have an album release coming up in September. It'll be dope. We're going to play some shit on this channel then. Anyway, you want to check it out? You'll see it all pop up. You can check the description of this video for more links, or this channel for more videos and all that good stuff. Thank y'all for watching. Have a wonderful week. Peace, love, live long and prosper. Wow, I fucked that up.